is coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're mine. They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. Did he say Hershey? That's what it sounded like. Good, so you know who I am. And then you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr. With me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you guys tonight?
We got a doozy. A damn doozy of a show tonight, guys. All right, here we go. Trump put up a post on his Truth Social. He shared a post that is pretty crazy. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to share my screen, because I want old boy to see this post as well. All right, can you see that? Can you see that, old boy?
Yes, I can.
All right, this is from Donald Trump's Truth Social account.
Move it over more. It's just all I can see is Donald J, and it's cut off.
Yeah, it doesn't move over anymore. That's Donald J. Trump. See? Right
Okay,
there.
yeah.
This is his official verified account. And this is the post that he put up. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, it says, the world will soon understand. Nothing can stop what is coming. Now, as you guys know, this phrase right here, nothing can stop what is coming, is one of the taglines from the Q drops on 4chan and then 8chan. Okay, a lot of people out there follow the Q movement, and it just kind of died off. And a lot of people have been wondering what's going on with it. This tagline right here, nothing can stop what is coming, is how Q ended a lot of his posts. Okay? And then also here, if you look in his hand, in his left hand, Q+. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the Q post, Q+ was always understood by all the Anons to be Trump. That's what everybody said, is that Q+ was Trump. And when they asked Q about that during one of the question and answer sessions, Q said yes, that is Trump. So Q+ is Trump, okay, according to the Q posts. So here we have Donald Trump sharing a post that has a Q tagline. Nothing can stop what is coming. And Q+ in his hand. And the world behind him. Okay? And this was made by Spiritual something. I can't read all that, but you guys can see it. It's who made the thing. But Donald Trump, as you can see here, he shared this on his Truth Social. And I know this isn't AI. I know this isn't BS, because I went to Truth Social. I have an account there. I went to Trump's official account because I follow him. I scrolled his timeline, and I found this. This was put up 4 days ago. As of the recording now. It is Wednesday night right now. As of this recording, it was put up 4 days ago. And there he is with the Q tagline and the Q+ in his hand. Okay, so as you saw, that's Trump putting it up himself. That has Q+ right in it, who everybody understands that Q+ is Trump. Okay? Fairly cool. So, what does that mean? Is that Donald Trump validating the Q movement, saying that the Q movement was real? It also lines up with what's going on right now. Because as everybody knows that follow the Q movement, there's a thing called the storm. And what the storm was supposed to be was when all of these people start getting arrested. All the stuff that the Q post talked about, you know, the island and the child trafficking and all the stuff that was going on, that a lot of these people were going to go down for it. And the storm was supposed to be that time when the arrests start happening. Okay? If you look at what's going on right now, they just released Congress just released more Epstein documents. Okay, now most of those documents are stuff that's already been released before, but they've been trying to get the judges to unseal the documents from the Florida case of Maxwell. So you got that going on. You've got Tulsi Gabbard as a DEI who's going into all kinds of crazy stuff that she's going into and releasing. She basically said that Obama and Hillary and Biden and them committed treason during the Russiagate thing. Okay, so that's all coming out. You got so much going on right now, and it's getting to that point to where it's coming to a head. So that would kind of line up with what the storm was supposed to be. Maybe the storm is coming. There's got to be a reason why Trump is putting this up. Because I don't buy for a second that Trump just put it up because it had his picture on it. People say stuff like that, right? That, oh, he just put it up because it had his picture on it and everything. No, Trump is a smart guy, man. Trump is a great businessman. He knows what the hell he's doing. So he wouldn't just put it up and not realize something's on it. So he knew damn well what he was putting up, right? So is that saying that the storm is getting ready to happen? Okay, I want to cross-reference one more data point here that's super interesting from the world of prophecy, prophetic word. There was a gentleman named Kim Clement who was a prophet who did a lot of prophecies that have come true. And one that he's talking about for this year in the fall is that many will fall in the fall. Okay? That there's going to be a lot of the powerful people are going to fall during the fall of this year. So that kind of lines up also with the timing of him putting up that post and the storm from the Q drops. All of that kind of lines up with the prophecy of Kim Clement of all of this going down in the fall. Pretty crazy. Now, what can you expect if this is what's happening? There's going to be a lot of panic. There's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of crazy shit going down. First of all, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be arrested. Important, influential, big-name people are going to be arrested. When that happens, their side is not going to be happy about it. Okay, so you're going to have, I would expect, rioting in the streets, protest, violence, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Okay, Q talked about 30 Days of Darkness, also in the Q drops. It's unclear whether that's going to be taking place at this time as well. That's where like the internet's going to be down, all that stuff's going to be down for 30 days. I don't know if that's going to be happening too, or what's going to be happening. And then you also have the whole 3-Eye Atlas thing that's been going on. A lot of people talk about in the Q movement that there's going to be a alien invasion, right? Quote unquote alien invasion. That's going to be a fake thing just to get people's attention so they're not paying attention to what's happening. Could that be what this hoopla about 3-Eye Atlas is about? Because with that thing, man, there's a lot of misinformation going on about that. You know, a lot of misinformation. And there's a lot of misinformation about a lot of this stuff, unfortunately. And that's kind of what happens. You know, the Q drops were pretty good, you know, and they had a lot of what they called Q proofs, which is where they would post a picture of like something on Trump's desk on Air Force One, or Q would put a certain statement up, and then Trump would post that exact statement at the time that he said he was going to post it or something, right? There's all these different proofs that proved that Q was on the up and up, and that it wasn't BS. So that's another interesting point, you know, is there's a lot of Q proofs out there, you know, and they talk about that there's going to be a fake alien invasion. And you got 3-Eye Atlas, which is being brought up now. Everybody's saying that's going to be an alien invasion, you know, but like I said, there's a lot of misinformation about that. And I think that was the downfall of the Q movement, of what discredited the Q movement, was you had all these Q influencer people, right, who had no actual connection to Q whatsoever. They were just people on YouTube and other platforms that were making videos talking about the Q drops and giving their analysis of them. And in a lot of those videos, they went way past anything that Q actually said in the Q drops. I mean, you were getting all kinds of nonsense about med beds and the whole economy being reset and everybody being millionaires and JFK Jr. being alive and just all kinds of crazy shit that Q didn't actually say. But you have these influencers that were making videos about Q, who people that were following the Q drops would watch them to get analysis on the Q drops that dropped. Those people would go out of pocket and say a lot of things that weren't actually in the post. And that caused problems. You know, you had a lot of these people saying that people like Hillary Clinton and Biden and a lot of these people were clones, or that they were wearing masks and that they had actually been taken to Gitmo and executed and all this other shit that just there's no proof of. You know, Q never said that stuff. That was never in the Q drops. So what happens is you get people that don't actually follow the Q movement, right? They weren't following the drops. They weren't reading them all. They were just watching these videos to get the information, because the Q drops sometimes were very clear, and then sometimes they were very cryptic. And so you'd try to figure out what the hell they meant, you know? And so you'd watch these influencers who would break it down for you and go through all this stuff. And the problem is people are lazy. They don't have time to be trying to figure all this crap out. So they say, well, I'll just watch this video and they'll tell me what it means. You know, so then these channels grew and these influencers got popular and people started trusting what they said. And a lot of them said all kinds of outlandish shit that didn't actually come from the Q drops at all. So what that did was that discredited the Q movement. And it made people say that it was a crazy conspiracy theory. When if you actually look at the Q drops themselves and the Q proofs, pretty solid. You know, you had some misinformation in them, saying certain things that weren't right, but it was intentional misinformation, if that makes sense. It was intentional because they were trying to do something else and they needed them to look over here while they were doing something over here, kind of thing. But a lot of the stuff that people were saying simply wasn't in the Q drops. So you got Trump posting this on Truth Social. You've got all of the stuff coming to a head, the storm, right, from the Q drops. You've got the prophecies of Kim Clement, which seem to be coming true. I mean, you're looking at charges on Hillary, possibly, Adam Schiff. They talked about him for the mortgage thing, plus his role in the Russiagate thing. Clapper, Comey, a bunch of other that one district attorney lady from New York, I forget her name, Letitia James, I think it is, or something. They're talking about charging her because she's committing fraud. I mean, there's a lot of these people that it looks like they might be going down soon, you know, on various different charges. And then the main thing with the Russiagate stuff hasn't even dropped yet. You know, Tulsi Gabbard dropped it, and she said this is what happened, and these people committed treason. But it's still in the process of the investigation with the FBI and everything. Those charges haven't even been filed yet. So that's a whole nother big mess that's getting ready to come down. So if you look at where we are, right now we're at the end of summer, getting ready to go into the fall. So I don't think it's any coincidence that Kim Clement said that his prophecy from God was that many powerful people will fall in the fall. It's almost fall. You got all these investigations coming to a head. And you've got Trump that just posted this Q Plus thing on his Truth Social, saying the world will know soon. So it all ties together. It all points to the exact same place, and that is all hell's fixing to break loose in the fall. And we're pretty much there, which is awesome. Also, to add on to all of this stuff, you've got Book of Revelations. You've got the end times. You've got all that hovering over all this. You know, a lot of people think that we're getting near the end of this thing. You know, so then you got to think, well, how does that figure into all this? It's crazy. And then what about the Three-Eye Atlas thing? Is that the fake alien invasion that they're talking about, that they're going to do to try to get people's attention away from the bad things that they did? Because no matter how many reputable people come out and say, nah, man, this is a comet. We have photographs of it, video of it. We can see it. You can see the tail on it. It's a comet. No matter how many reputable people say that, you keep seeing all these stories every day that, oh no, it's an alien ship coming. They're going to get us. NASA said this. Harvard said this. This person said this. You hear all this. Most of it's BS. So why does it not go away? Why, no matter how many times they say this is bullshit, why does it not go away? That ought to tell you something. We've seen that before. We've seen it with the Russia crap. No matter how many times it was disproven, they just keep on lying. They just keep on going. And that's kind of their game plan all along. Think about it. Think about all the times that they've lied to you over the years. Remember the Fauci ouchie? They told you if you got that you couldn't get sick? Absolute lie. Both impeachments of Trump were lies. Every time they lie, and then we catch them in lies and we say, no, you're lying. Here's the proof. Do they ever say, oh yeah, you caught me, I lied? No. They just go to another lie. And they pretend like that doesn't even exist anymore. They ignore it and they just move on and lie again about something else. And then later on down the road, they'll bring up the original lies as if they were never disproven. As if they were truth. That's what they do. They lie all the frickin' time. We've seen it over and over and over again. So when you see this 3-Eye Atlas thing, and you see them keep talking about an alien invasion, no matter how many people come out and say it's bullshit, no matter how many times they show the images of it and say, look, it's a comet. You can plainly see. What do? No, it's an alien spaceship. They keep saying it. And then they put up like AI bullshit images of some alien spaceship. And it's like, that's like a drawing, dude. That's not even a fucking actual photograph. That's like a computer drawing. That's fake. But they just keep doing it. Because they know that if they lie enough, that there's going to be a certain percentage of gullible people that are going to believe it because they've heard it enough times. And that's sad. So my question on this show is, do you think all these things are connected? To me, it seems like they are. To me, it seems like Trump wouldn't put that up unless there was a plan in place, right? He wouldn't just, he knows the shitstorm that'll cause. He's not a stupid man. He also knows all of those people are out to get him. The press, the Democrats, some of the Republicans, they all hate him. And they just want to destroy him any chance they get. So he knows damn well that if he gives them that ammunition, they're going to run with it. And they're just going to crucify him for it. So he's not putting that up there without having a reason to put that up there. He knows damn well what he's doing. And I think it's kind of interesting that it was 4 days ago that came up. That he posted that. And we haven't seen it on the news yet. Why are they not ranting and raving about it? Normally, anything he puts up that's kooky, they'd be all over it, wouldn't they? Anything they can do to try to make him seem crazy or make him seem unfit. Why are they not talking about it? Could it be that they don't want you to be talking about that? Because there's a little bit too much truth there? Instead, they want you to focus on this shiny object over here? Seems that way to me. But it's very good, in my estimation, to see him post that. Because there's a lot of people out there that followed the Q movement. That read all the drops. When it started out on 4chan and then it moved over to 8chan. And they followed it and they read them all. I read them all. And those people, a lot of them felt left behind. Because all of a sudden, the Q drop stopped. And everybody just pretended like it didn't exist anymore, you know? I mean, for a little while, people were still in it, but after a while, everybody just gave up and said, okay, whatever. And they just moved on to the next thing. But it's very, very good to see Trump put that up himself. Because in my view, that validates the Q movement. That validates the Q drops. You know, when I say that, I'm not talking about these influencers that were making videos talking nonsense. I'm talking about the actual Q drops and nothing more. I'm not talking about any of the videos you may have watched on YouTube where they said that all these people have been all sent to Gitmo and it's all already done and we're just watching a play. All that crap. I'm not talking about people talking about there's going to be med beds like from Star Trek that can cure anything. I'm not talking about where they said they're going to reset the economy to the 1950s and everybody will be millionaires. I'm not talking about any of that. Okay, a lot of that stuff is from the fevered minds of the people who made the videos. Has nothing to do with the Q drops. The Q drops said none of that. You know, the Q drops were almost like military intelligence is what they were. You know, a lot of them were like coordinates or stuff like that you had to go and research and figure out what the hell they were talking about or a portion of a picture, and then you'd go look and you'd say, oh wow, this picture actually relates to Epstein in this way and this way, and you had all these people that would research it and figure it out, and that was really cool stuff, you know? That's what the Q drops were about. Letting you know who the bad guys were and what they were up to. None of this fantasy crap that a lot of these people talked about. And some of them are still talking about. To this day, they're still making videos and talking about it. You know? So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm interested to see if this is indeed the storm. And I am very much looking forward to seeing these people face justice for what they've done. Because the stuff that they're doing is absolutely horrifying. You know, the stuff that the general public knows about as far as Epstein and all of that, it's just the tip of the iceberg, man. Epstein is not the only island. It's not the only island. There's other islands. Diddy is not the only person that was having those kind of parties and doing those kind of things. They're not. There's more. It's a standard thing in the media, in the entertainment, and in the music scene, and in the governments and everywhere. They have these little things set up all over the place. And the whole goal is to capture rich people, famous people, powerful people. Get them into situations where they are compromised, and then film them or photograph them doing things that they don't want out, so you can blackmail them to do what you want. That's what they do. And Epstein was one, Diddy was one. But there's many, many more. They are nowhere near the only ones. And the stuff that they are doing and forcing people to do in order to be successful is despicable. It's disgraceful. And I, for one, am very much looking forward to seeing all of this come out and the general public being able to know what they're actually doing. I mean, we're talking crimes against children. We're talking crimes against humanity. We're talking about cannibalism. We're talking, I mean, you name it. There's horrifying things that are happening. And a lot of that stuff has been shut down. Or at least the majority of it's been shut down. You know, because there's people behind the scenes that are working that are stopping this kind of stuff. You know, and that's awesome. You hear about it all the time. You know, the FBI puts out that they just broke up this many child trafficking rings and saved this many children and all that kind of stuff. That's awesome stuff, man. You know, it's good to know that the good guys are out there and they are stopping this. But I think that it's well past time for the general public to be informed about what's going on, for everybody to be able to know. Now, I'm not talking, I don't want the footage out there, nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. Right? I don't want to see the pictures. I don't want to see the videos. I don't have no interest in seeing that stuff. But I think that those people who did that stuff, their names need to be put out there. And not just by people talking. I'm talking like in charging documents. I'm talking about in indictments. I'm talking about in court proceedings to where the evidence can be shown and they can be proven to be the monsters that they are. The public needs to know what's going on. And when you find that stuff out, man, it'll change your world. You know, That's going to be the hardest part of what's coming, is that for the average person that isn't involved with any of this kind of stuff and doesn't know what's going on, for the average person, this is a world shaker. This will mess up your whole view of the world when you realize that you've been lied to about so many things. And people that you idolized and people that you looked up to and were fans of, you find out what they're doing and what monsters they are. It's sickening. Absolutely sickening. But that's what I got to say about the subject. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be pretty damn cool. And I'm going to throw over to Old Boy and get his opinion on everything. So go ahead, brother.
Let me get a drink, guys. Hey, guys. Good evening. Okay. Well, we usually don't do conspiracies, but we'll do this one. Here's the problem I have with Q. Didn't Q also say they were going to change the election? What happened with that? Let's be fair. Q was wrong on a lot of things also. That's why I'm trying to tell you. They also said they were going to redo the election. That didn't happen. Some stuff Q did say about, and I'm not saying what happened with the election. I'm talking about they did bring out a lot of stuff about what people are doing. But I'm going to tell you something. This is what people need to realize something. All Q did was tell the truth of what's been going on for thousands of years. I'm going to tell you this. He's right. It doesn't matter what belief is or whatever you believe in. There is people out there who do horrible things. And if that's true with Q, I don't care what you believe. Those come out and they're real, because remember, the truth is Q wasn't 100% accurate too. They've proven that. If some of it's, but I believe some of it is real. And I think that this is a warning to you. If you don't think they've been controlling everything forever, because I know they're going to probably demonetize this show. This is nothing to what they don't want to come out. If you think they don't want this to come out, I'm going to tell you this right now. If Trump puts this out, they got something on Trump. That's why I'm trying to tell you. Look what's going on with the X-Beam. Why won't, we can bring up that too. Trump don't want to bring that out. Well, there's reasons for that. If Trump brings out if he brings out what James is saying, it's going to involve him personally because it's people he knows. You're only going to be able to get away with so much stuff, even him. And I think he's even learned how far they will go to shut him up. If Q's coming out, there's a reason. There's something bigger coming. I believe that. I believe that part of it. I believe that the aliens could be fake. But what? Okay, I'm going to tell you this scenario. What if they're not? Then what happens? So there's an expert who has nothing to do with politics claiming it is not a comet. He has nothing to do. He actually is a Trump supporter. He's saying it's real. So I'm going, but you're right. TikTok is blown up. Now they're coming next week. And it's a fleet of 5,000 monkey flying donkeys are coming now. And it's so much bullshit now, like he said, and this will be all bullshit too. As soon as the Q thing comes out, there's going to be, the problem is everybody will make up bullshit assumptions of who it is, like they do with everything. I want you to realize something. They know who we are. They keep us shut up. They've done it in the past. That's why I'm very, very careful what I'm saying right now. Because I'm going to be honest, we used to be very, very, we were blowing up to, we said certain things. And we barely got it back. So that's why I'm being careful. I think he's found out that this reaches things that you can't even, doesn't matter if it comes out or not. They will twist it around. You're right. People will believe it, but they'll make it where the Republicans are just doing, they will twist it around and some people will believe it. I'm not a politics person. Like I said, I've told before, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't even vote this time. I'm an independent voter. This is the first election I didn't vote. Didn't want to. But I voted for my governor. I voted for other stuff. I just didn't vote for presidency. I was pissed off about the whole situation of everything that's been going on. So I didn't vote this time. But I believe something's coming. I believe he's right in February. Not February, November-ish, maybe latest December, earliest end of October-ish. Something's coming. Now, it may be this false thing that he's talking about. They're pretending there's an alien attack and they're going to just make it all 30 days. And the problem with that is it won't work because Trump's in office. If Trump wasn't in office, they would have pulled that already. They weren't expecting him to win again. Kamala Harris got closer than I thought she was going to get. I thought she was going to get blown out of the water because she had so much time, no time. 4 months is not a really, let's be fair. They were grooming her for about a year because they knew that he was having problems. That's coming out now. But the point is, if it was a little bit closer, about a year she would have had, I think it would have been very close, bro. And I know that it would have been a lot closer than what it was. And I don't think she would have won still. But they didn't think Trump was going to win. They didn't think Biden was going to. If Biden would have ran, it would have been a lot closer election. I promise you that. It just, the numbers say that. And they showed it in the after polls. Biden would have had a better chance of winning. It would have been actually very close. But we don't want to get into that. That's not a politics show. But they weren't expecting him to be there, and now he is. And you see what's going on now. And yeah, there's a lot of people who are against him. There's a lot of people who want him out of presidency. There's some people who like him. James is one of those people. Not saying that he's saying this about Trump. They're not bringing up. That's the way he goes. A lot of people got to realize James really does go up and look up stuff. He didn't go, well, that's Trump. That's it. I'm right. Now there's people who do that. And I'm saying, or Clinton, Trump's an ass. James goes up and looks at evidence. Well, the first thing people are going to say, he looks up what Republicans say. No, because he actually goes and looks at an enemy stuff and looks at their opinions. Because you can't just go and say something about the Democratic Party or any party you're going against unless you know anything about them. He has the opinion on them. Now, if we had a Democrat on here, it'd be a whole different story. He's drinking Trump's Kool-Aid. He's crazy. You know how that goes. And that's what some people are saying already. If Trump's saying something, something's coming. But we also know how Trump exaggerates stuff. And when it comes out, it's not what everybody thinks it was going to be. That's known to happen too. Trump talks before it happens. And then sometimes, like what happened with Israel and the ceasefire, didn't happen after he said it was going to. But that wasn't really his fault. Those are two countries that have been fighting each other for thousands of years. Now he's even made comments about it. Yeah, you're winning the war, Israel, but you're losing the countries. Every country's turning against you. Even he's kind of said some stuff. But that was the last thing I saw about Trump. Then remember, he passed away. Remember that one? He died. And people actually believed this shit. And he was dying. And people actually thought he was gone. And this is what I'm saying. I don't think, especially what happened with P. Diddy, him getting that slap on the wrist proves a point. Well, we thought he was done, bro, and he got out of it. I mean, he's going to jail for a year, maybe, but he got out of it. Dude, these lawyers know how to fucking fix the books, dude. What they'll do is, they can go after these people. But then they'll get some federal judge to go and fucking overrule it and redo the thing here and get him out of it. That's the problem with this situation. It will always be a problem. Look what happened with the tariffs. What happened just last couple days ago? A federal judge overruled Trump, and Trump has to wait now for the Supreme Court. This is always going to happen. Even if they bring the paperwork, if he brings it out, what will happen is they'll get the Supreme Court to make it illegal where they have to look at it before it can be let out. And they can do that. And then it won't be, and then they'll make their marks out of it. What I'm saying is, even if it comes out, they'll make it look like it's a Republican spin. And I'm not going to say I believe it or I don't believe it. I would love to see everything. I mean, not pictures like he said, but I want to see the truth. I don't care what you vote. If we're getting lied to, I don't care if you hate Trump or if it was Biden, whoever it was. If it was Biden saying he was doing this, I would want to see what's going on in my country, in this world, and know the truth. But I don't think any of these people, me and you know the truth, bro. No matter what side of what we believe in, we know what the truth is. A lot of these people don't. They don't even care. They don't care if they're getting lied to. Even if you get the truth, the problem is now people don't care, bro. And that's what it is. They rather believe a lie. And you know that. And I've told you this before. We could make videos and somebody will say it's CGI made by the Republicans or some church saying it's that. Now, if it was a Democrat that came out and showed it, then that's a whole different story. That's the way I would do it. You want to know how they do it? Don't have Trump do it. You know what? Show it the whole Democratic Party. And whoever's not who's actually not a part of that, when there is a couple of them, the guy from Pennsylvania, give it to him. Give it to him and see the proof. And if it's Republicans and Democrats, they all need to be thrown in jail. He even agrees with me. He doesn't care who it is. Even if it's Trump's on there or somebody in his family, they need to go to jail. I don't care what his name is. Anybody, I'm not saying that.
I'll tell you really quickly, it is both. Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
It's not just one party. It's 90% of the people there.
And that's what the problem is. He's playing with fire on this because yes, Trump is a different person now, but there's stuff on Trump too, what he did before that. You know he was a different person. And we don't know what he really did then. And that's why I think he kind of stays away. You don't know. He might have given himself to God, but he might have done bad shit before that. Doesn't mean anything to some people, bro. And I'm just showing an example. I'm not saying he did. I'm just making an example for anyone. They're going to say, well, you're a Satanist. I don't believe in hurting children. I never have. On any beliefs. I believe everybody deserves to choose what they want to do in their path of life. If you're 18 years old and you decide that you want to believe in whatever you want to believe in, if you make them die for us, but then you say, well, you can't smoke weed and drink, that makes no sense. You're telling an 18-year-old, go ahead and die, but it's all right for our country. But if you want to have a beer, fuck you. That's kind of the weird thing anyway. I was just thinking about that, but that has nothing to do with this. But what I was saying too is it's a point. If this is the shit that's going on, do you really think most of these people are going to believe it? I know some people will. Trust me, you're half of it, and some people will. You don't think they're going to say it's fake? They're going to say there's lying, and then they're going to make a video showing it. Some Republican made up some bullshit and added to it because you know what, that could happen. This is what I think will happen. They'll tell, but like I said, somebody always has to make it bigger than it. They'll say, oh, this happened, but somebody on that list will say Trump's lying and he's on something, and this is what will happen. It will be an ongoing battle for years till Trump's gone and no one will care. Just like they got rid of Q years ago. I remember Q was the hottest thing. I remember he was talking about it a couple years ago. Then it died out. It went like this. It was like a flame and it went out. What they could do is, and we both know this, with lawyers and shit, this could get put in court for years, and it doesn't matter what he does. If they, now because he announced it, you don't think they're already going to try to get the Supreme to say you can't? Because if the Supreme Court says he can't release that evidence. And if he does, they will get him out then. They'll just impeach him and he'll be gone. There's a way he has to play this, and the way I would do it is give it to the enemy, give it to somebody who's not a part of that it's a Democrat or somebody who goes liberal, like who they like Bill Murray. I don't think is involved in that. He says a lot of stuff about both sides, and even gone against Obama and saying that he believes he had some with the whole with stuff's going on. He's even said shit. Maybe give it to somebody like that.
He did. Think about
He
this a
did.
minute. Think about it. Where do you think the Trump is on the list thing came from? Do you know where that came
Okay.
from?
No, I don't know where it came
It
from.
came from Elon Musk. He put it on
Okay.
X. Okay, who was Trump's boy? Right? They were together, tight, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Elon posts that. So what does that do? That gets all the Democrats demanding the immediate release of all of the Epstein files
Yeah.
because they think Trump is on the list. So in essence, Trump is doing exactly what you just said. He's giving it to the enemy and letting them be the ones to call for it.
True.
You know? And as far as the court thing, really quickly, if you go back to the Q drops, Q said himself that the military is the only way. That you're not going to get this done in the courts. That the military is the only way. So it's going to have to be military tribunals to avoid all that. And what's interesting about that is I just saw in the news today that it has been approved for military tribunal judges to do immigration cases. So there's already been a precedent being set for military tribunals in cases where the court system can't handle it. And I think that'll be used.
But you also know how that also looks too, right? That also looks like he's trying to become he's made very many comments that he likes how North Korea and their leader has the power he has. He's made very many comments on that. So, I mean, I agree with that part of it. I just don't want it becoming a military state where we all have to the point where I hope, and this is with anywhere, and I don't care who was doing it. Because if it was the Democrats doing it, I'd be against it. I want it to the point where we find out stuff, but don't make it where we can't even walk on eggshells on everything we do. Because that's not being American. We're not being what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be free. We shouldn't be worried about this shit. Why? When we came to all these, whatever happened with all these countries, why did it come to this? Why does it have to always be this? Why does it since day one? It didn't even matter. There could be a giant God. It didn't matter. That's what's crazy about it. It didn't matter to anyone. I'm not saying anything about anybody's belief. I'm right though. God's been watching everything, and He knows we weren't supposed to do this, right? We still do. It doesn't matter. We don't care what He thinks. We don't care about anything. We only care about greed, money. It doesn't matter. If the devil comes, and even if he does, I'm just saying, say your scenario is real, or whatever scenario. You think people are going to fight the devil? No. You know what? And the sad thing is, he told God that he could do that, and he was right. He's got 90%. Even if God, in reality, if James is right, only so many Christians go to heaven. Only 1.1% of the population, right? If it's even that, isn't it? Is it 0.6? I don't know the proper. I'm just asking.
There's no percentage or number in the Bible. People say that 144,000, but that's a whole different thing that has nothing to do with who's being saved. The problem is a lot of people that think that they're going to heaven, that think they're saved, aren't actually saved.
Okay, I get that.
And the reason is the devil has infiltrated the church. One of the worst things for mankind's salvation has been the church, because they are teaching not the gospel. They are teaching a perversion of the gospel. You see it all the time with people like Joel Osteen and people like that, right? They say if you just say to Jesus that I make you my Lord and Savior, that you're saved. That's not how it works. You know, they leave out the blood. The blood is the most important part, because that's the sacrifice. See, before Jesus died, in times before that, what you would do is you would have to pay for your sins, right? So that you didn't have to be, because we all sin, right? So that you didn't have to be held accountable for the sins you commit. That's what the sacrifices were about, right? So you would buy at the temple a goat or a sheep or a dove or a bull, depending on how much you've sinned, is how big of an animal you need. You would buy them, and they would slaughter them, and their blood would cover your sins, right? That's why they call Jesus the Lamb of God, because he is the sacrificial lamb for our sin. His blood covers our sin, right?
Yeah.
That's the most important part of the gospel. That's what your salvation is based on. And the problem is the church is not teaching that anymore. They're teaching a works-based gospel, that you have to do certain things in order to go to heaven. That it's not enough that Jesus died on the cross and for you to believe that he's your Lord and Savior. That's not enough according to the church. You've got to follow these rules and follow these rules, and that's not the truth. So when you put yourself in a works-based gospel, you're not believing the blood. So therefore, you're not actually saved. You see what I'm saying? And that's one problem I got with Trump. See, people think that I think Trump walks on water. That's not true. Trump said not too long ago, when he was talking about the peace in the Middle East thing and the peace in the Russian thing, all that, like the Ukraine war, all that, he said that he would like to try to get to heaven. And he thinks that making peace with all these people and stopping the killing will go a long way to help him, right? It's like, no, dude. It's not works-based. You can't do anything to earn your way to heaven. You need to believe on the blood of Christ. That is what gets you into heaven, right? So that's one thing I would love to talk to Trump about and give him the true gospel so that he could be saved as well. Because if he honestly believes that he has to do something to earn his way into heaven, then he's not saved. And I think that's the problem, is you're going to have a lot of the people that they go to church every Sunday who wear their big crosses and they think that they are Christians. And they're lecturing people like you about what a piece of garbage you are. You devil-worshipping piece of monkey crap, right? All of that. Those people who think that they're going to heaven, if they don't believe on the blood and they believe that you have to be good and you have to do this, that, and the other thing to get there, if they believe in a work-based gospel, then they are screwed. You shouldn't be judging anybody. You know, the people that judge you, old boy, are no better than you. I am no better than you. We are both miserable, filthy, disgusting sinners. And we both deserve hell. Jesus died on that cross for both of us, brother. You see what I'm saying?
I get it. But like I said, I agree with, but what I'm saying is, I get it, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. You know what? You can, and if anybody doesn't like me, this is something you can listen to. You can go to the store, get a can of alphabet soup, and find the D and eat it. Because I don't care. I've never give a fuck. Look, he believes in a certain thing. We're not talking to preach to you. This is actually a cool story. And this is a cool thing if it's real. I'm not saying it's bullshit. I know people. Oh, he's a Republican. We already know you're gonna go there. He knows that you're gonna go there. He don't trust me. He knows you're gonna think he's full of shit. Look, if that scenario happens, if that really happens, the devil got what he wanted anyway. It doesn't matter, and what people need to realize is, even if he goes to hell, he knows he's going to hell. You know he's going to hell. And just so people know, the devil is not. This is one thing, and even I know, if there's God, God is no joke. The devil is no joke. You're not going to beat the devil by saying, "Oh, Jesus." You might get away with one of his demons, but him himself, that won't work. He's different. But I'm saying that he's going. He still made so many problems that what God originally made, but some of it really wasn't the devil. Cain and Abel killed on his own. He didn't talk to the devil. That never happened. The Watchers left their castles or whatever, the mansions in heaven to go be with the women of men. Now, the problem I have is, why would you make a creature so beautiful that even angels in heaven are jumping out of their sky? Come on now. We're only human. We fuck up. I know that. We sin, whatever. That's fine. He knows we're going to do it. But if they even do it, then why did you make a creature like that you know not even they can control themselves? And I heard the devil couldn't even control himself. Why? That now explains why. And nothing against women. I love women. Trust me. It's just that, wow, like you guys changed everything. If you think about it, people think that women are like they're not. They have changed everything. Cleopatra changed that war. You don't get it. They women in the end are the ones who put these ideas in us. And it's the truth. My wife does it, his wife does it. They really get the motors going. Yes, we'll get the glory. We'll go fight the war, but trust me, all these wars, there was a woman in there telling them what to do and how to do it. And that motherfucker, get him out and kill that mother. You don't think that happened, that happened. And that's what I'm saying. Why make a creature so damn beautiful that, and they are. And when you look at a man, they're like, what the fuck? No wonder I wouldn't want to be a woman. I'd jump into, be single. I'm sorry, I'd probably be a woman. I'm sorry, they're beautiful. I understand it's a sin, but you know what? Whatever, I guess it's worth it. But they're beautiful, dude. And I'm not saying all men are ugly. There's handsome looking men, but most men are not. We're just basic normal creatures that we destroy stuff. There is bad humans, don't get me on. There's a lot of bad men out there and have done a lot of bad stuff. But we're just on that. We like playing video games, eating a sandwich, hanging out with our friends. Most of this we don't care about. It's they're different. They're a different species altogether. That's why we coexist with each other to a concept. If we get married, yes, I love my wife's stuff and stuff, but they do their own thing and we do our own because we get tired of each other after a while and we piss each other off, and that's what it's meant to be. That will always happen. I don't care what relationship in and who you're with. It doesn't matter. You're always going to get on each other's fucking nerves. It just happens. But this story is interesting because I keep hearing about the fucking whatever that is, the mountain it's flying here, or the Death Squad from fucking Star Wars is coming, the Death Star itself. What if it really is alien, bro? What if this isn't a lie then? What if I'm just saying that scenario, I understand this, but what if the scenario is that it really is an alien ship? And what if they're not going to attack us like they're claiming is? Because they keep saying they're going to attack us for some reason, not even knowing they're going to or not. That's the other stupid thing that people are saying, and they don't know what's really going to happen. They're making assumptions. So what if this is really a ship? And what if they come down and say, you guys are all fucking wrong, and we have all the proof on it? Now, let me ask you a question. But doesn't say anything about religion. It just says what we know is what lives out there. It doesn't get to that. What if the religion we're understanding is just something we just found throughout millions of years in the world? And what if they say the Earth is older than what we think, and we're just a pit stop from a bigger universe, a bigger thing that's going on? Then what we do? Then the aliens that's been here, because I know there's aliens, because Trump has even admitted it. So he just said, I won't say they're real or not. That's basically saying that they're real. Doesn't mean that religion isn't real. It just means that we just didn't understand it. And that there's stuff that they've been hiding from us and haven't told us the truth. And I know he believes that. He knows that everything, we haven't been told everything. They're hiding stuff out of the Bible. They've always proved it. They've changed stuff. And that's what we need. We need them to give us exactly what we are, so we know this. But they never will, because they think there's no money to be made. I know that's some of it too. There's always going to be that. There's always going to be some kind of way to make money and control people. And I think that's what it's all about. This is a big battle, guys. This is a big battle that's going on. And whatever side you're on, you got to start realizing that maybe the sides we're on are not the sides we belong on. And I'm not saying that in any way. Just really study it. Don't go off of what news says or what even he says. You go look it up. Go look it up outside, not looking online on Google, because they're going to tell you their own bullshit thing on it. Do I think aliens are coming? No, I don't think that's coming. I think something's going on with aliens, though, and I've said this for a couple years. I've seen a lot of stuff going on. And everybody, of course, it's the military. Dude, it's already been said that they don't even know some of the shit that's going on. So I know it's not them. They don't have that technology. You know they don't. And you know they're real. You know they are. Why lie about it? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change that there's no God or there is a God. It just changes we don't know what this universe really is. And okay, we have different beings. Doesn't mean we don't follow the same religious beliefs. Maybe that's what got screwed up in the first place. Maybe we were just an experiment from them to see what we would do, and we failed miserably. And like James says, though, the one thing about mankind, we find a way. And I don't know why we do that. We prove people wrong. And I think in the end, I think maybe we should try to prove even everybody wrong and maybe do the right thing and stop doing the wrong thing. Because hurting people, it doesn't matter what race, color, religion, murdering children, hurting people is not right. I never have believed that. Even in my beliefs, they're not, that it even talks about don't hurt animals and children unless it's for hunting. Not everybody in my belief hates Christians. We don't hate kids. There's certain people who just want power. And remember, Charles Manson thought he was Jesus. And he was a Christian. He thought he was Jesus, but he believed in God. Just saying this because Zach Baggins made a claim that he was a Satanist. He was not. That's absolutely not true. He was a white supremacist, and he said that there was going to be a race war, and then we would lose, and then they would come ask him for help because he was a savior. David Koresh was supposed to be a Christian. What happened with that? But let's be fair, they shouldn't have rated it the way it happened. They even said it. We have to remember there's been people who have done horrible things in the name of God. Hitler was another one. But there's been horrible people who do horrible things in the name of the devil. Jeffrey Dahmer originally was a Satanist. He changed, and I don't believe it because he was a narcissist, he knew how to, but he claimed he went to God. But if he did, whatever, some people believe he went to heaven. I'm sorry, but that's, if you eat somebody, bro, and it's more than like 15, 20 people, I don't even know if I was God, I would let him come in. I think I would, even if he went to God, I think that's something that's not being told the truth about. I think that even if you are a Christian and if you're so evil like that and you do believe in God and you're just eating people and there is people like that, I think you still go to hell. I think that if there is a hell, and if those are the kind of people who need to be there. If you're eating people, you believe you. I don't care if you believe in God or the goat or a cat. I think you belong in hell. I don't care how bad you apologize to God and you're really sorry. You've ruined people's lives. There's no way that somebody's family's ever going to be the same. It doesn't matter what you go in therapy. That's the problem I have. And I get it. I guess it's God's will in your mind and stuff but that's the stuff that I have an issue with. Now, maybe there's a reason to it. Maybe there's, I can't do that, bro. Because what if this is true? What if Hitler did what he did, and before they died, he went to his hands and forgave himself, and he really meant it? Then he didn't go to hell, and that's the problem. And I get it. I know what you're gonna say, and I've heard this many a times. But and I know but that's not me. God has his reasons. But even if he went to heaven, he doesn't deserve it. And that's the problem. Now, if you believe in heaven, I know you have your opinions and you're not an innocent person, but if you really believe in heaven, I hope you go, bro. I really do. I want people to hear. I don't want the worst for him. That's his what he lives for, and that's his belief. I want him to be happy. I want him to be in those clouds with with God and what he, and be whatever his family's there, and that's something he deserves to be. If that's what he wants, he deserves to go to heaven. There's no,
I don't deserve it either, brother. That's the point.
but
You
I'm
say
saying
like
that
if Hitler
that's
went, he
my
didn't
point.
deserve it, but neither do we.
But
None of
you
us
do.
do. We're all sinners, bro. We all deserve hell.
Well,
That's the point.
I know that, and that's my opinion. You deserve to go to heaven. Now, I'm not the one making those decisions, but that would be my opinion. The point is, God's never been a human, and that's the opinion I have. If God would have came and became a human being and understand what we go with, and I'm not talking about Jesus because he gave Jesus power. God should be a human being like one of us and see how hard it is. And maybe we would understand. Maybe would understand us better. And maybe that's what that would be a fair trade, because then he would understand that we're not going to ever be perfect like him. And yes, we're right, we're sinners, but we're never going to be perfect. Never. The devil wasn't even perfect. He made the devil perfect. So damned if you don't, you're damned if you do. Whatever you're going to believe, you're going to believe. But I believe he deserves to go to heaven over Jeffrey Dahmer. But that's my opinion. That's not meaning it may be against his religion, but that would be my opinion. I kind of look at the fate thing like Egypt did, is like how bad your life was. Like you did this much bad things and you would go into the best, or you would go to, or their version of heaven. And that would make a lot of sense, because if you, and I'm not saying I believe it, but if you did a horrible things, like you killed millions of people and then, oh, well, one day I just decided to be good. And then I died the next day. That doesn't add up. That's just my opinion. And I get it what he's gonna say. I know God doesn't care about that. He just, if you forgive, you're forgiven. And that's the human part of us. Some of us don't understand that. And we're never going to. And that's a conversation you guys gotta realize we're having right now. Because there's a lot of people who hate each other right now over stupid shit that makes no sense to me. He can say whatever he wants to me. He can tell me I'm going to go to hell. I mean, he doesn't. I'm just saying he could, and it doesn't bother me because dude, if you guys knew what I went through with my life, you guys would understand that I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I really don't, because I was told since I was a kid I was never going to be anything, and well, boy, I sure done it pretty well. So, and so is he. But he believes in what he believes, and I hope he gets it. But that's my belief, hoping good blessings for him, even though you don't think that I would want. You guys probably sit there and think that I sit there and hope he gets something bad. I don't do that, dude. I never did. That's what one thing I want to talk about. One thing about religion. Anton LaVey said this. He said everybody thought I was a miserable fucking person, and they showed him. He goes, I love my life. He's sitting there playing the whatever it was called, organ. He loved his life. He fucking did what he wanted. Yes, he might have went to hell, but he lived the life he wanted. That just because you live a certain way or believe in something doesn't mean you're a miserable person. It just you believe different than you. My life is the same as his. We play fucking video games, like sports. Other than religion, we pretty much like the same shit. It's weird. We even carried the same gun at one time. We have the same name. It's just we believe in something different. Other than that, that's it. That's about it. I mean, I feel differently on certain things than I'm more open on stuff, but that's his belief. He was raised a certain way. I was raised another, and I actually went away from what I was raised to because that's because of stuff that's happened to me. But that's my business. But this is something when you guys watch this show one day when we're gone, you can understand what really happened. If this does happen and the world is coming to an end and God's coming back, then you guys will watch this and you'll survive and you'll know what to do. You'll know that he's in heaven and I'm here in hell, or whatever is going to happen. Now, I will tell you this, though. If that does happen, you know what? I know where I'm going, and that's fine. I don't need anybody to pray for me, because you know what? Praying, and to me, is a spell, because you're blessing you with something. Like if I blessed you, I don't do that to anybody, just so you know. I don't bless you to say, I'm just not going to do that. You bless me, thank you, cool. It don't do it. But some people are going to do it anyway. He's going to do it anyway. But just so you know, it as say that it is if I don't want it, then that's the end of it. You can pray for me, that's fine. I hope the best for you. I don't hope bad things to people because I believe in what I believe. I have a difference of opinion because of stuff that's happened to me, and that's because of the way I believe. It has nothing to do with people who believe in. Most of the people I know are Christian, are great people. They've never done me wrong, and they've always been caring people. It's just that I have my opinions on the belief system, and that's not just them. I met Catholics, I met Muslims. Coolest guy met today. He knows so much stuff. We talk about stuff all the time. He is Allah. He's a Muslim. He's the coolest dude though, because he listen. He doesn't judge, and we talk about stuff, and he knows about it. He's the same like James. He's like me and you. He just believes in Allah, but he believes the right way, not the. He has his opinion on all that bullshit that goes on in the Middle East. But he's a cool guy. Coolest guy I ever met, dude. And we sit there and talk about everything. And he believes the same thing. He just believes in God, and he believes that people need to quit doing what they're doing because they're falling doing nothing in life, and it's the truth. But I have perfect conversation. I have no problem with anybody's belief. If he has this belief, and we're talking about Trump and all this stuff, it doesn't bother me. We just have to watch what we had to say because and nothing against Parax Radio. We could go back. We just don't know what they're doing right now. I know they're having live streams now. I saw that they added that. Maybe something we could talk to them about, but it's not this. It's a different group of people now. Now we can do what we want. We had to watch what we had to say, and I'm not going to lie. And we can do whatever we want now with these shows, and that's why they're more interesting to you guys. But we kind of watch what we had to say. Now we don't. We have Spotify. We do everything on our own. That's why now we've progressed. We pushed being able to swear. Now we're doing what we want because we wouldn't have been able to do this show, guys. And this is what I wanted you guys to know. This he picked a show that if we try to do this on Parax, we would have been told not to do it. And nothing against them. That was another. They had their own opinion. I get it. It was because it's politics. But I want people to realize this is why we're talking. Oh, what are you guys talking about? It has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with, if you think about it, it has to do with the end of the world. It's sci-fi. If you want to, it talks about aliens. We're talking about different politics all together in one thing. You're always going to have that. There's nothing you can do about it. But I want people to know now we're going to talk about more stuff that we weren't talking about before because we can get away with it. We'll be careful about it because they still will screw us. And they have. I want people to know we used to have a lot of followers one time, and we were getting really well known. And then when you say certain things, they didn't like it, and they don't like me and James sometimes. More him than me. I just don't care. I'm a rogue. I believe in what I believe in, but I also believe in something different than some of these people do. And I don't believe that I have to hurt people to get somewhere. I mean, people do that themselves. I don't have to do that. I don't have to hurt people. I just want to, you know what? I believe in an eye for an eye. You doing something to me, you're going to get it back sevenfold. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know a lot of people in this whole world, different beliefs. I don't judge anybody, and I actually enjoy listening to some of the stuff he says. If you want to know the truth, the Bible is interesting. Even may I not believe it, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. Who wouldn't? There's all kinds of monsters and all kinds of it's interesting stories. It's sketchy. A lot of people don't want to hear crazy things. I like the Ten Commandments. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm talking about with what's his name? The guy played it. Hey,
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston, wonderful man. That's one of my favorite actors. I love him. God damn you all the hell, Planet of the Apes and there's other movies. Man, he was one of my favorite actors, dude. I love that guy. And the Ten Commandments, as crazy as it sounds, is one of my favorite movies. Well, because it was so good, and the way they did it in that time. And Hugh Brenner is such a great actor. I liked him in The King and I liked him in other stuff. But he was such a great actor. That movie was great. It was such a good story. You couldn't get a better Moses. That guy played Moses perfectly. I Charlton Heston was a different kind of actor, and he was in Ben-Hur. Those movies were great. I liked those movies. It had nothing to do with. It's just like watching Jason and the Argonauts. I like watching that. But those movies are wonderful. Ten Commandments is a great movies because at the very least it talks about against slavery. It talks about what could happen with uprising on treating people like shit because you think you're better than them. It has a point to it. It has spiritual stuff. It has witch stuff because of the staff and stuff like that. And then when he did the sea, that's great stuff. And I know he likes that movie. Great movie. But that's why we talk about some of this stuff. So you guys can't say, well, James never told me anything and I'm stuck in this now and demons are chasing me. Now, if you watch this, now you understand. So that's why I went into this side of it because I wanted people to realize because we haven't said nothing about we're not on Parax anymore. And it's nothing personal with them. It doesn't mean we hate them. We just haven't talked to them yet. They sent us a thing. We just haven't said nothing. We're deciding if we want to just keep the show the way we want. Now, if they're willing to let us do what we want, I wouldn't mind going back if they're doing live streams, but if we could talk to them and let us talk about what we want, then I'm fine. I just don't want to go on where me and him have to watch everything we say. I can't stop him from saying what he wants. I tried, it doesn't work. We're screwed. We kind of quit because it is true. So if you work with certain companies, they were going after one of our guys and they didn't want him on the show really anymore. And I kind of understand that. And we're still doing We're Screwed. We're going to do another show next week. We're going to do it every other week or every 3 weeks because you can't have people on every week. We'll do it every other week. We'll talk about. I want a female on this time, but we're going to keep doing Tales of the Abyss and Staring in the Abyss. So we're going to start. We're going to try to get another team going in another state. That would be good. Get some more evidence. There's a lot of stuff going on. I want to thank you guys for listening to the show. This was really. You guys are going to say, why the hell are you guys talking about Trump? We're not talking about Trump. It's just about a situation of what he's saying. Q has been a big thing for the last 8-9 years, guys. And if this is true, this is big. I want to see what it's really about. Then we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see. We'll have a show about this. I wanted people to understand because I know a lot of people know that he's a Christian in what I believe in. I know people know who I am on TikTok. I run a house called the House of Ashes. It has people who are in witchcraft, pagan, and stuff like that. That it's a known group. I know that. That's my belief. But the one thing I tell everybody is, whatever your path is you're going to take it. I don't tell anybody if they're a Christian. I don't go, I'll tell them the right direction. Maybe you should go to James Hershey because that's the way you should go. My opinion is if you're going to believe in Christianity, you should go with him. If you're going to believe in anything else, that's your business. I try to help people. I don't go, well, I hate the first thing it says is somebody asks me, James, can he help me? I don't go, well, nope, because he's a Christian. No, I said, what do you believe in? And he goes, well, I'm kind of believe in God. And I said, well, you know what? That's probably the guy you want to talk to. I'm not going to go, well, nope, you don't want to do that. I'm not going to tell somebody that. I think people believe in their own paths. And I think it maybe whatever their hell or heaven's going to be, it's going to be. But that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this show. It was something different. We're trying different stuff all the time. TikTok makes it very easy just to talk about something forever. And we're always going to be. I do want to talk about, they said they found a new mammoth. I don't know if you heard about that. Some kind of version of it. It's like big like it, but I don't know if it's a bullshit story. Maybe we can look that up. That's one thing I would like to check out. I want to thank you guys who's been following us on Staring the Abyss for 9 years now. It's going to be in December. And it's just been a wonderful ride, man. We're still I think we're one of the greatest of all time. I think that if it wasn't for everybody blowing up and doing all the paranormal stuff, we would have been a lot bigger than what happened. And that's what happened. It just blew up, and now it's getting saturated, and it is what it is. And we're still here. We survived. So thank you guys for following us on that and Spotify and YouTube, and check James Hershey's YouTube page. Just click it. And subscribe. If you guys want some merchandise, go to teespring.com, Steering Levis. You can get t-shirts, hats, all kinds of cool stuff. That being said, summer's almost over. I love you guys. Misfit Sugar Lays and Monster Livers, Demon Terms. I fucking love you. Have a good night. Goodbye.
One thing is for sure. We will see soon. We will see what happens. We will see if all these arrests happen. We'll see if the tribunals happen. We'll see if Three Eye Atlas is just a comet or if it's a spaceship. And whatever happens, we'll see. Because time will tell. You know what I mean? I'm here for the ride. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And the purpose of this show wasn't to say this is exactly 100% what's going to happen. It's, hey, look what Trump just fucking posted. This is nuts. You know, let's talk about this shit. This is crazy. Does this mean that the Q movement was real and we were right to believe it, or is he just fucking with us again? You know what I mean? Because Trump likes to troll sometimes too. We'll see. You know, we will see. Whatever the outcome is, time will tell, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you. Love you. And till we speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.